it's clear that there's foul play. This error will be, under normal circumstances, impossible. And I think that the NNPC has indirectly admitted that by saying that they will hold their agents who imported the contaminated fuel responsible. It's very clear. And let me give you an idea of how these things are done. From the refinery where it is produced, there is a quality certificate. From the port where it is loaded, there is a quality certificate. From the port where it is discharged, there is a quality certificate. And then even the initial contracts specify the quality of product to be supplied. So this is impossible without corruption. To import contaminated fuel will be impossible without corruption. It cannot be to a desired end. It cannot be to a desired end. The cost is more significant than you think. There are a lot of costs. There is the cost of evacuating the contaminated fuel. There is the cost that was paid for the purchase of the contaminated fuel. There is the cost that was paid for the transportation. There is cost of management. There is cost of insurance. The cost is more phenomenal than you think. This is very significant. And the House of Rep has called for investigation. The president has said the people who are responsible will not get away with this. This is very, very significant. There's also the cost in man hours. If you were on the road today, you will see that there were fewer vehicles on the road, and you have so many queues. So the cost is very significant. That is very false. I was ashamed when I heard the GMD of NNPC say that. I don't know why people in public office in Nigeria always think that they are talking to illiterates. I was shocked. If at the level of a GMD, we can have that level of professional, will I call it error or incompetence? I'm not sure which one it is. It is shocking. And then that's why you will understand why your industry is not doing well. Because mediocrity can never outperform excellence. Can never. Normally, the quality certificates have a compositional analysis. That is the right way to do it, and that is the way it is done. So you don't go testing for pentane alone or methanol alone or whatever. You have the full record of whatever is contained in the product and whatever in what quantity each one is contained. That is how quality certificates are made. I am shocked that the GMD of NNPC does not know how quality certificates are made. Quality certificates are made for products with the full identification of components and their quantities. And that is how specifications are guaranteed. I'm surprised he said that their test schedule does not test for methanol. You don't go testing for single components. These are multi-component products. Yeah, and the quality certificate show each component and the quantity of each component. I am shocked. Well, you got misled like most other Nigerians. If the NNPC has multiple agents, like Onovo, Duke Oil, and the others, will you still insist that it's a sole importer situation? Secondly, if you have multiple importers and even one imports off-spec crude, you will still suffer the consequences. These are things that should not happen. And like General Buhari said, this thing should be investigated and there should be consequences because the cost is very significant. The biggest problem is that you're not refining domestically. And everybody has known for so many years, even the ruling party had it in its manifesto that it will fix the existing refineries and build new ones. So the answers have always been known. I think that we should hold the mass media, which we belong to, responsible for that. Because we keep asking the same questions for 50 years. The answers are known. NLC has a position on this matter. Pengasem has a position. Professionals like us have a position. The ruling party has a documented position that is written. Why do we keep asking this question, what is the problem? We know what the problem is. Why don't we ask, why has the ruling party not implemented its own answer? So, okay, sir. If the mass media controls the narrative and they keep pushing the wrong narrative, you will not get the solutions that you want. My brother, if you don't know the answer, look at your fellow OPEC countries and ask yourself who is doing anything this senseless that you're doing. Why will you produce crude oil in Nigeria? You have 4 existing refineries. You export the crude oil and go to import refining products. And then there's a report that your refineries are costing you 100 billion naira per year. And they refine nothing. Who can tolerate that? And you think that there are no consequences? If it's your personal property, will you run it like that? If you decide that because you want to use my vehicle, you don't need your own vehicle, will you set it on fire? If the refineries are there, why will you depend on Dangote? You don't own Dangote. Dangote is a private company, even though it's a PLC.
Okay, sir.
We are talking about what you own as Nigerian people. What's our own? It is Dangote and his shareholders that own Dangote Refinery. You, Habib, and I, we don't own it unless we go and buy shares.
Yes.
So we're talking about what is publicly owned for public interest. You cannot expect private property to be for public interest. That comes back to the messianic mentality that Nigerians have, where they don't want to accept responsibility for anything. They just want everything to work right. Everything is not going to work right until we make everything work right. So keep your eyes out of private property. Dangote Refinery is private property. It is covetousness on your part to put your eyes on Dangote Refinery. You have your own property. You have 4 refineries. Old Port Harcourt, New Port Harcourt, Warri and Kaduna. Why do you not have your attention on those ones? Why do you want to have your attention on other people's property? Well, first, it is too late. Secondly, what we see is insincerity. Because the procurement process was not transparent, publicly transparent, and the cost we have to pay is prohibitive. The scope of the repair is not in the public domain. So we suspect that it's money for elections 2023, because even the cost is outrageous. A total of 2.7 billion to fix 2 refineries. How much do they cost brand new?
Yes, sir.
What is the scope of repairs? One was awarded for 1.5 billion, the other one for 1.2. What are the values when the previous government wanted to sell them? So it's, to us, everything is suspicious about it. The nature of the regime in power is one factor that makes it suspicious. The timing makes it very suspicious. The cost makes it very suspicious. and it looks obvious there is another scam. Modular refineries will bring excellent solutions, but nothing will work until we make them work. And let me tell you, corruption demotivates. And in an environment that is corrupt, or where there is demotivation, inefficiency must be very obvious. So corruption and inefficiency are twins.
Yes, sir.
You can't have efficient bureaucracy or efficient projects with corruption. And knowing that corruption is endemic here, you must factor it into all these situations.
Yes, sir.
Modular refineries should not be a challenge. But if you have awarded licenses corruptly, you have given approval for construction corruptly,
Yes, sir.
you have done project management corruptly, you won't expect excellent results. It's that simple. Just like former President Babangida said, he said Nigerian problems are basic. There's no challenge here. There's no challenge here. You plant a tree, you cut it down, you say, why is the tree not growing? That's not a challenge. You cut the tree down. That's why it's not growing.
All right, sir.
The answers to all these your questions are very simple. And elsewhere, they are very simple. The Tema Refinery in Ghana, the two-phase maintenance, both of them cost about $300 million. Phase 1 and phase 2. Your own is costing $1.5 billion. It's all, well, the mass media has to hold the government accountable. That's what the Constitution says. And you need to answer that question, whether you have held the government accountable. Or maybe I will agree with you that by this interview you are trying to hold them accountable.
Yes, sir. That's what we are trying to do, sir.
That's what the Constitution says you should do. Very brilliant one from you. But if you were running your own public refineries, then it wouldn't be such a phenomenal monopoly. If you were running, you have 4, he has 1. Okay, agreed that the capacity of his 1 is higher than your 4, agreed. But if you run your 4 so well, you wouldn't need him so desperately for him to be that powerful a monopoly.
Yes, sir.
And you won't run your 4 well with corruption and nepotism. That will not help you. You will keep wasting money the way you have been wasting money in the last 20 years. And the more money you waste, the more poverty you have. The more poverty, the more crime. So you are not safe, I am not safe. So this idea that it's not my father's problem, it is not my problem, is unpatriotic. It is my problem, it is your problem. The 200 Nigerians must see that these are their problems. And they can't say, I don't care, I'm not a politician, let the politicians go and fix it. Well, the politician will go and fix you, not it. No one is helpless. What I will use is that it looks like everyone is indolent. It looks like everybody has lost their sense of responsibility. I don't think everyone is helpless. No one is helpless. The government in place, even if it rigged itself into power, we remain the sovereign. According to the Constitution, the people are the sovereign. The government cannot be bigger than the people. Now, the solution to these problems are very simple. Domestic refining. We should not be exporting crude oil. Get that clear. When we ran for president in 2015, we said that we will continuously increase domestic refining to the point that we stop exporting crude oil. If we were exporting refined products, we will have a lot more revenue. We will have a lot more revenue. If we had a responsible government and a lot more revenue, you will not have the debt that you have now, which you have to service with 100% of your revenue. So these are problems that were preventable, but those who are benefiting from this will I say it's a paradox or a predicament? Those who are benefiting are telling you that these problems are very complicated, they are not easy to resolve. That's all false. These are very simple problems. These problems have been resolved by Ghana. So what's your claim? There is no challenge here. There's no challenge. So the direction is domestic refining. And you can achieve that in many ways. Dangote refinery is good. Modular refineries, if you can get them going, private modular refineries, excellent. Repair existing refineries, build new ones, excellent. But you must have the clear vision that we will stop exporting crude oil. We will refine all our crude oil and export refined products and get a lot more revenue. And the market is there just here in the West Coast. The market is here. So it's easy to raise a lot more revenue if we were exporting refined products. So these things are very simple. Yes, the role of the political leadership is critical, agreed. But it's also the people that choose the political leadership. Even if we claim that the elections were rigged, it means we either cooperated with the rigging or we tolerated it. Because you can rig and we reject it. Like when it was rigged in Anambra and Peter Obi rejected it and went to court and reversed it. So it's what we sow that we reap. We cannot sow corruption and expect excellence. We cannot sow nepotism and expect excellence. We cannot sow mediocrity and expect excellence. If we do the right things, we're going to get the right answers. So what your takeaway from this interview is that the government of Nigeria must have a realistic plan to stop exporting crude oil and export only refined products. And to do that is increase domestic refining capacities. And I've told you a lot of ways you can do that.